you must have the vision and mission when it comes to the manager that you are referring.
What are the good qualities of being a good manager?
Well, let me think. To be honest, to have these qualities of a good leader, you must have the vision and mission, and of course, to have like that, you must also have the qualities of being friendly with them, and aside from that, you must be knowledgeable when it comes to the work. Because if you don't have this one, I think you didn't you will not be a good leader in case you don't have this one. And
right.
also
Now let's talk about New Year. How do people in your country celebrate the New Year?
Well, to be honest, my country celebrated New Year. It's not something special. There's nothing to write about because it's the same thing that we are doing. Like we are just preparing some delicious food, tasty, and some of them. To be honest, I have a real knack in cooking, so that's why if I'm going to prepare some food, especially for this New Year celebration, they all they will always say that my cooking is it's head and shoulders, or I mean it's the taste sometimes is out of this world, so they love it.
Excellent. Have you ever celebrated New Year that you still remember?
Oh, since I work as abroad here, and I was far away with my family in the Philippines, most of the time I wasn't able to attend the New Year because I'm on duty. So usually what I tend to do is I just celebrate that with my colleagues, just to celebrate this kind of special occasion. So yeah, this is quite sometimes that I celebrated this New Year if given a chance. So I just try to also to celebrate even though despite the fact that I was on duty.
Okay, so now let's talk about breakfast. Do you think breakfast is important?
Absolutely, it is important because this is one of the most important meal of the day. Because there's a saying that uh, eat eat breakfast in the morning like a king, and uh, eat like a in the afternoon eat like a prince, and in the evening just eat like a pauper.
Which one do you like? Egg or hot dog?
Well, these are strange questions actually. Well, both of them I like both of them because this is one of the most important meal that my wife prepare for me, especially when I'm uh, when I'm on my duty. So yeah, both of them.
All right. Do you like coffee?
Of course, I'm addicted to coffee. That's why drinking coffee is my morning routine. Because if I have uh, if I have this, if I'm going to drink coffee, I think I can boost my energy as well. And I know if sometimes they said that if you're addicted with this coffee, sometimes it's not also good for your health. So I make sure that I have balance when drinking when drinking coffee.
All right. So now let's proceed to part 2. Sir, do you have an answer?
Okay, I will just open. Sorry.
Okay, sir. Sige.
Okay. Hold on.
Please open number 7. It's all about book.
Number 7. Book.
Ano bang nakasulat dyan, sir, sa 7? Book pa? Hindi.
Number 7. No, book, sir. Book, sir.
Po. Sige po. Kasi, kala ko kasi iba yung ano ko dito. So I'll give you 1 minute to prepare. Is it okay, sir?
Okay. Sige po.
Alright.
Sige.
1
Dali,
minute.
alam ko lang. Open ko lang ha. Saglit lang.
Sige, okay lang po, sir. Take your time lang po.
Ano pa siya na saglit lang. Sir, sige. Sorry naman sir kung anong connection.
Okay lang po, no problem.
Okay. Sige sir, okay na. Na-open ko na siya.
Sige, sir. I'll give you 1 minute to prepare. Timer starts now.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay na po, sir?
Okay.
Alright. You may start now.
Okay. So, to be perfectly honest, there's a batch of book that I have read, which is more useful. But the one that really stands out for me is the type is Slice of the Book. Slice of the Book, and I can't remember the name of the author because it slipped my mind. So, I think it's about a family in Ireland in the 19th century, and the story is about how the family fled the country to escape the famine. So it's their journey across the sea to America. And why I love this book because it has a moral lesson that gives you a point of view about how the family escaped from the famine, because really it was really horrific book. I mean, it sent shivers down my spine because of the tragic that had gone to happen to their journey. And to be honest, I really enjoyed it because it's really easy to read. It's novel, and I mean it can be understandable easily for young children or teenagers. That's why it's really engaging. I mean, it has you on the edge of your seat. It's also a very exciting book and very compelling story, and I love it. And for sure, I would recommend it to read in all ages, because without a shadow of a doubt, you will not be
Alright.
bored or
I'm
at
so
the same
sorry
time.
to cut you off.
Sure.
Right, so now let's talk about reading. What books do
Okay.
young people like to read?
Well, by and large, people tend to read some Korean, I'm sorry, would you mind repeating again the question, please? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
What kind of?
What books do young people like to read?
Well, by and large, youngsters tend to read like science fiction books, or
Hello, Elsa. Thank
something
you
that
for
are
the thumbs
relevant to their
up.
education, or with this,
Thank you,
because
Elsa.
I think this would help them to know and to gain their knowledge about what
Thank you,
the
thank
books that
you.
they are reading. So, for instance, with my son, he's always I tend him to read some storytelling about some fancy words, fancy stories, like that. So I think he was enjoying it to read, I guess.
What's the difference between reading habits of young people and old people?
Oh, well, it's hard to say, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but they have their difference. But I guess, to my mind, that youngsters today are more on tend to read like some quite uh, it's not, I mean, educational, but they tend to read some books that are quite fancy, I mean, or something strange, because they tend to be more fashionable when it comes to reading items, like for the magazines, or they tend to read some who's famous artists, like that, or famous person, well famous person. So unlike if, however, old people, they tend to read some business, like that, because if we're talking about old people, they tend to read some informative or business books that will be benefit for their daily life activities.
Okay, sir. This will.
And when it comes
Sorry.
to, okay,
Sorry.
sure,
This
okay.
will be the last question. Do you think paper
Mhm.
books will disappear?
Oh, I tend to disagree this one, because for me personally, uh, books nowadays will still be used, but right now it becomes a thing of the past, because nowadays we have this kind of ebook, and which are easy and convenient to to read, and also this Kindle, I guess, because it's quite fashionable for, it's quite trendy for the youngsters to read this one. But for me personally, books will always be there for us, because, for instance, when we were young, we it's become a habit for us that we have to read the books by our through without using the technologies, and I think this will be inevitable for us, not the books to be, to become a thing of the past for me personally.
All right. That
All right.
concludes our IELTS mock test. Thank you and congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir. I was quite up for the party. To tell you, to be perfectly honest, I have already run of ideas, and I cannot generate anymore. So I tried to rock my brains, actually.
Okay, sir. Any self-evaluation niyo, sir? Apart from sa part 3, sa overall.
For the part 3, I know that I was already that great, and I still need more practice, and I still need to, to have more vocabularies, or mean to structure my sentence, actually. So
Sir, can I ask you a question, sir? How
Sure.
long have you been preparing for IELTS?
when I start February 5, yeah, but that day, January, because I was having only my self study with myself, so because it's also difficult for me if I'm going to study without the interaction with you guys, because if I have this kind of what do you mean, kind of this platform that we're doing, speaking bodies, actually it bolstered my confidence, and at the same time I was able to practice my speaking.
Yes,
And in
sir.
that, it's also great for me. It's also great help for me also. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well,
Yeah.
for me naman, sir, with regards to your performance, as you said a while ago that you just started practicing this platform since February 5.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think, sir, if you keep on practicing,
Mhm.
you can get your desired band score. I mean, I'm talking about 7 and up because as per my observation, you have
Thank
a
you.
good vocabulary at the moment and lexical resources as well. But and also, I like your the way you deliver your part two because I feel that there is emotions.
Mhm.
Oo.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Oo. Sa other side po, sir, may hesitation siya pero kung ma-practice mo yan, sir, for sure. Kasi you have a good foundation and you are conversant
Mhm.
and you can use appropriate words for a certain topic, for example. And I think in part three, you were able to extend your answers and giving some conclusions of the summary of your ideas. Although there are some hesitations, but
Mhm.
I think if kung mag-practice lang tayo ng practice, sir,
Oo nga, sir. Oo.
makuha mo yung sir, 7 and up. Kasi yung foundation mo nandun na, sir, eh.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Opo.
you. I just want to develop it more by continuous practice. I think in God's will, we can ace the IELTS or we can crack the IELTS. Hopefully, guys.
I agree, sir.
Mm.
Totally agree.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, guys, you can say any comment.
Any comment to sir? Any comment from the group?
Hi,
Si
Sir
Ma'am Jen.
Dex. Hi, Sir Marco.
Mhm.
Hello.
Actually, I'm not good in criticizing, but I just want to comment in regards with your part one. I really have, I love myself silly because I feel your starters that that's a blah blah question. It's like it was the first time you heard those questions, especially
Yeah.
regarding
For manager.
regarding no not the manager, regarding the hot dog and
Yeah.
what.
Sorry po, sir. Breakfast
That's
kasi,
okay.
sir.
I love to
Breakfast
this
kasi
really.
yung topic, eh. Kaya naitanong ko na lang.
It's okay.
Pasensya po,
That's
sir.
why it's better that you have this kind of strange questions. So it's also for you how to enrich your language when it comes to that strange questions. So that's why I just yes.
You have a commendable performance on it, Sir Dex.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, I am fortunate enough that I muted my mic because really I am laughing. I'm laughing by myself with those kind of questions, and I feel that you are fascinated as well.
Yeah, I was mesmerized actually with that kind of questions. But anyway,
Nice question,
we have
Sir
to answer.
Marco.
We have to answer it.
Po, sir, ha?
It's okay.
Breakfast kasi yun, eh. Kaya naitanong usually kasi sa atin.
I think it would be a great help also if you have these random questions in order for you
That's right.
to open up, because sometimes the questions is there. I know it's just a piece of cake, but the thing is how you will deliver it with your enriched language to make it more complex, right? I just make it simple but enriched language.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Yes.
Let's say that again. I agree. Any comment?
So if you
Yes,
want
guys.
can we practice now? Or you can ask question, or you can participate.
Yes, sure.
Any comment first
Comment about what?
about the performance?
Okay, so I thought the comment was enough. So I don't have any comments. He was good, and I think he can score more than 7, and his fluency was good. But part two, I think that he was lacking his idea generation. So apart from that, everything was good.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome.
All right.
So anyone, is there anyone who want to participate for next contest?
It's
Yes,
waiting.
guys. You can, actually, it would be better if everyone will participate because that's
Yes.
why we're here. No, but in order for us, to bolster our confidence when it comes to speaking.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. We should give each other a chance to participate.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
test.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who wants to participate now? Except Dexter and Marco. So Jill or Josel or Reggie, RJ, anyone?
Just a suggestion, guys, if that's okay.
Yes, definitely done.
If you can give others, you can assign others to a breakout room, that would be maybe easier. Just a suggestion.
Definitely, that's what I was talking about. So, anyone want to participate? Anyone? Vitamin, do you want to participate now?
Rian, do you wanna be the examiner or you wanna be the
Yes, I
candidate?
can be the examiner for you.
Okay, let's ask the other ones, especially the host and the co-host. So, what's your decision, guys?
So, Jill or Josel?
Giselle is out already. She's not here. I mean, she's still here, but she's not
She's not
participating, I
unmuted
think.
herself. So, yeah, Vitamin, you can ask me questions regarding part 1, 2, or 3. And
Who will
if
be
you
the
want, I
next
can-
here? I asked question to Dexter. So who will be the next?
Guys, who wants to be the invigilator or
Yes, if you want, I can be the invigilator. I can ask you
Alright.
questions.
and who
Alright.
will be the examining? Sir Marco? Okay.
Okay lang, sir. Sige po, sir. Sir,
Okay,
thank
okay.
you po, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay po.
So, let's talk about family. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So your first question is, how often do you meet with your family?
Well, given the fact that we are in the brink of pandemic, I rarely met my family because they are in the Philippines. So because of this hurdle, I just communicate with Zoom and other platforms that can I can see and talk to them with that social media platforms.
Do you want to live with your family in the future?
Yes, of course. I really want to leave my family in the future because it's part of who I am, and I mean, they are important in my life. So maybe 5 years from now, I'll be in the Philippines and I'll meet my family and my children.
Are you close to all of your family members?
To be honest, I'm really close to my mom because we have a lot of similarities. In fact, we are two peas in a pod and we are very similar when it comes to physical features and appearance.
So let's talk about friends. Do you have many friends?
Well, yes, I would say, because I'm an extrovert person and I'm really friendly and helpful to my friend. So without the shadow of a doubt, I have bunch of friends in the Philippines and also here in United Arab Emirates.
So how do people make friends now?
Well, I guess people can make friends in a variety of ways, and one of which is sending message in social media like Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, and so on. So just a click of a mouse or just a click of their fingertips, they can able to make some friends, like saying, "How are you? Good morning," that kind of thing.
So that's the end of our part one. Let's move on to part two. So uh, I'm giving you a question, and the question is: describe an experience when you played an indoor game with others.
Okay.
Describe an experience when you played an indoor game with others. And the sub questions are: what you played, who you played with, why you played, how you felt about it. So you can take your time for your preparation, and it must have be more than 1 minute. Okay, your time's up. You can start.
Well, to be honest, I played a lot of indoor games. Mind you, I'm gonna share about my ultimate favorite indoor activities, which is playing chess. Chess can be played by two players. I mean, both opponents. It's a board game, and I think it's really easy and straightforward to play this type of game. If my memory serves me right, it has a 32 pieces like rock, bishop, queen, and pawn, and the likes, you name it. So this game is really popular in my country because it helps people to broaden their personal, broaden their perspective and their horizons. Apart from that, this is my ultimate favorite game because it allows me to improve my problem solving skills and critical thinking skills. On top of that, this type of game is really applicable if there are some extreme weather conditions, and I guess it's really important to spend some quality time with your family and friends. By the way, in the past, I used to play I used to play chess with my father. As a matter of fact, he told me how to play this game, and I won several awards because I'm really good at playing chess.
Okay, your time's up.
And I was able.
Your time's up. So let's move on to part three. It's about related to part two questions. So your first question is: do you play any indoor games?
Oh yes, as I said a while ago, that I am a diehard fan of indoor games, and one of which is playing chess. Apart from that, I I really like to play card games like Tong Eds in our vernacular. I think it's really well known not only in my country but also around the world. Also, I really like to play table tennis, and I consider it as indoor games, and it's fun and it's amazing indoor games.
Do you prefer to play indoor games or outdoor games?
Well, to be honest, I'm on the fence about that with regards of that question. On the one hand, indoor games helps me to stay at home, and it's really applicable at the moment because we are in the height of pandemic. So in order for us to save lives, we need to stay at home and play some indoor games like computer games, um, chessboard, or whatsoever. On the other hand, outdoor games is imperative because it helps us to improve our general and mental well-being. On top of that, we can also improve our upper body strength, like participating in yoga exercises, meditation, and Pilates, which is becoming popular nowadays. So I think it's really good in our overall fitness, and as a result, it improves the optimum level of functioning as a human being. So overall, I would say that both indoor and outdoor activities are essential.
So that's the end of our speaking session. You did well, and your fluency was good enough, and you used several idioms. So, is there anyone who want to participate or ask me questions or anyone?
Thank you, Sir Ryan Ahmed. Thank you. Thank you so much
Okay.
for your comment. I really appreciate.
So, anyone?
Any comments?
Gentlemen. Hello?
Yes, sure, I can give a comment. I love the way you ended your speaking in part 3. You said both indoor, I think you said overall, both indoor and outdoor activities are essential. I think that was really a good point there. And your grammar also was perfect in that ending. But I noticed also that you used plural nouns when it was supposed to be singular. For example, in part 2, when you started your introduction, I think you mentioned ultimate favorite indoor activities. So you wanted to talk about one indoor activity, which was chess. But then I noticed you said activities. This can be just slips, and well, unfortunately, you said you make those nouns plural when it was supposed to be singular. For example, another example in part 3, you said, I consider it as an indoor games. So you notice it was supposed to be singular. And after that, you also mentioned outdoor games and you.
Okay.
You said like outdoor game is okay, there you go. Outdoor games is imperative. So outdoor games might be correct, but then the next verb that you used was singular.
Mhm.
Okay, and oh yeah, part 1 you said they can be able. Do you remember that?
Sorry, they can be what?
They can
Sorry?
be able. And then I don't remember the next words, but that was in part 1. I think you talked about family.
Mhm.
So you said they can be able. So can you spot what's wrong there?
They can be able.
Mm-hmm.
They can be able.
Okay, can and able are actually similar.
I see.
So you can either say
They're able.
they can do it, or they are
They are
able,
able.
or they will be able. So, but you cannot say they can be able.
All right.
Okay, that's about it. Thank you,
All right.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you,
Welcome.
Ma'am Rita.
Actually, I didn't wanna give a comment because I know you guys, you're excellent in speaking English.
No, but your comment is really helpful for improvement. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Really. Thank you so much. It was an insightful comment and feedback.
No worries. Okay, guys. Good
Thanks a
job.
bunch.
Thank you.
So anyone? Is there anyone who wants to participate?
Hello, Sir Marco.
Yes, Sir Dex.
Yes, congratulations. You did a great job. Actually, this is only a constructive piece of advice. When this one, like you said before, for the family, for the physical appearance, I think it would be better if you can say that, I have a spitting image of my mother. So we are like two pieces one. You are instead of saying physical appearance, you have this physical appearance. I have the same face. You said that like that. Same face with my mother.
We're in the two piece in a pod. Opo.
Oh, yeah. Mas maganda. Actually, this is also an idiomatic expression. But I suggest if you can say it like that, so it will be more engaged. But overall, you did a commendable performance today.
Salamat po, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay po. Okay po.
So anyone? Is there anyone who want to ask me questions?
Yes, guys, who would like to be the invigilator for today? And Sir Ryan would be the examinee.
Come on, guys.
Yes,
Ask me
guys.
yourself.
RJ, Jess, JC, Joe, Joel.
I'll do it.
Yes,
Okay,
go on.
But if there's one that wants to do it, okay, go ahead. Go for it.
No, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay, you can continue, ma'am.
Okay. So, do you want me to start from part 1?
Yes, go on.
Okay, let me just pull up some questions here. I was actually in the middle of something.
But I prefer to keep it short because other candidates are waiting. There is a long queue.
Okay, that's a good suggestion. So what do you want? You can just choose from part 1, part 2, part 3. So I'll just give you
part 1 or part 2.
All
Let's
right.
skip the part 3.
Okay, let's do that. So I'll give you part 2. Would that be okay?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, so your part 2 is, have you tried the TV documentary before?
Yes, I practiced with that topic.
All right, I'll give you another one. About the weather. Describe a day
Yes.
when you thought the weather was perfect. Okay, I'll give you that one. You
Could
should.
repeat the question, please?
Oh, I better send it to our group chat. Do you want to check?
Sure.
Okay, just a moment. Just have to screenshot it. Okay, bear with me. Here we go. 30 seconds. All right, I sent it. I just sent it. Did you see that one?
Uh, yes, on the picture.
Mm-hmm. That's my other account. Yeah, you see? Describe a day when you thought the weather was perfect. You should say where you were on the day, on this day. Second bullet point, what the weather was like on this day, then what you did during the day, and explain why you thought the weather was perfect on this day. All right,
Okay, so
so,
can I start now?
oh sure, let me just set my timer.
Okay.
All right, your 2 minutes starts now. Go.
Although I have faced several good weather in my life, today I am going to talk about a specific weather which I felt the most fascinating weather in my life. So it was 2 years ago when I did my internship at Hoplun Bangladesh Limited, which is a big multinational company. And just before the Eid festival, I had to visit my office and factory as well. So I started my journey almost around 8 a.m. So when I started my journey, I uh, went out from my home and I saw the sun, which was very uh, gloomy and very cool. So I reached my office after 1 hour later, and I had to made more than 100 kilometers on that day. So despite the uh, uh, difficulty with some tasks and like uh, murky air, I felt that the weather was very good because I can easily move from one place to another, and I never sweated for once. So I reached almost 2 hours at my factory, and even after reaching the factory, the weather remains the same and not changed yet. And after having my lunch, I moved to my local factory for some quotations to provide the plastic plastic bags of my industry. So that's the weather which I felt the most cool I have faced. And
Okay, your
after
time is up,
read several
Rian.
books.
Time is up.
Okay.
Okay, just quick feedback. Um, you started really good. I like the sentence when you said I started my journey. I think that's very natural but very good vocabulary there. And then there was this when you said about I reached my office after 1 hour later. Do you remember?
Yes.
So what do you think is, it's just minor, mistake, but what do you think is wrong there? I reached my office after 1 hour later.
After and later is similar, so I can use both of them.
Yeah, so either you can say I reached my office after an hour or I reached my office an hour later. You get it? Okay. But overall you were really good. And there was also the time when you said the weather remains the same.
Remained.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so that's about it. So, yeah, maybe you guys can also give your feedback. And I have to really go. Now I have some errands to do.
Okay.
Thank you, Rian.
Thank you, ma'am.
Um,
So, is there anyone who want to participate now? Guess, Joe, or Muminul? Anyone?
So if there's nobody, Rian, maybe you can look after Momino, because most of us here we are Filipinos. So I don't want you guys to get out of place.
Okay. So, Muminul, are you on? Could you please unmute yourself, Muminul? Okay, so I think that Dexter, Marco, and you are online. So apart from us, no one is listening, either listening or don't want to participate. So we can continue with each other. So Dexter,
Yes, sir. Yes, you did a great job actually when I was listening. But it would be better if you can just talk not quite fast, so that the examiner could understand it easily. So, but overall, you did a great job. When it comes to the weather, I think mm, mm, I think it would be better if you can say something like, for example, we have 5 kinds of weather, right? We have the hot, mild, cold, wet, and dry. So, yeah. So I think it would be better if you can be specified, or you can say some adjectives. Like, for example, in India, it's usually it's sometimes it's boiling there, right? It's boiling hot. In my country, it's really boiling hot or baking hot in my country. So maybe in India, there might be a mild climate. So sometimes the weather looks overcast, and yeah, like that.
definitely
Just
I
only
did.
to tell something about because you're talking about for the weather, right? So it would be better if you can say this kind of adjectives regarding for the weather. Like, for example, if the sometimes changeable, right? The weather sometimes becomes changeable, or sometimes not very bright, like gloomy or dull, like that. So that's it only when it comes to the weather.
Yes.
Okay, bye guys, bye YouTube.